Much for waiting. Thank you for joining us for the 2024 Leagues Cup post-game press conference. We are joined by Austin FC head coach Josh Wolff. Please raise your hand if you would like to ask a question. When doing so, state your name and the outlet you're representing. Coach, I'll let you give a opening statement.
Obviously really pleased with the performance and the result. Pumas are an extremely good team. So we had adversity that we faced in many ways, and the players put in a big effort and got rewarded. They were fantastic today. The fans were also incredible as always to help push and keep steering these guys in a good direction. The energy from the guys on the field, the energy from the guys off the field. It shows who they are, the character. Our performances in the last 4 or 5 games have been solid. We've been down a guy probably a little bit too often, but these guys hung in there, they grinded and got a much deserved result. So we'll enjoy tonight. We'll get ready for Monterey in a few days, but the guys showed their willingness, their character, and certainly their quality as well, which was incredible display of grit.
Yeah, in particular, just looking at one moment of the game, you have Bucari go out with that second yellow in the 34th minute, and then Danny Pereira has that run and finds Sardis 11 minutes later, gets that go-ahead goal. Sure. Just kind of thoughts on where things were.
Yeah, I think that was our second goal, right? When we were down
it was.
the guy.
Yeah,
so
that's right. Yeah, you were up 2-0.
We were already in the lead. The first goal is a good take as well. Alex does great in getting in the final third. We have an overlap, so we got options, and we say it every week. It's about making plays that are in front of you. The game has requirements, and in this game, the game's requirements changed throughout the game. So the guys worked extremely hard, and Pepe's been sensational in the last 4 or 5 games, and it's indicative of who he is as a player. He's continuing to grow the maturity as well, but Alex does a great job in the first goal. Pepe jumps it well in the second. Giassi takes it extremely well. The third goal, Seba finishes off a fantastic a fantastic goal. He takes it extremely good. So even we grabbed a goal, down a guy, we grabbed 2 goals. I don't know if it's. I've been part of a lot of games that have a lot of emotion, but the collective on the field as well as the guys off, plus the fan, it was impressive. It was really impressive.
And then this is the first time that Ring's been captain with Driussi on the field since 22. Is that just a Leagues Cup special, or is that a change that's happening now?
Well, we talked about it a little bit in our locker room. We want whatever we need to do to get the very best out of Seba and the group ultimately. So Alex has filled in for Seba a number of times. So tonight that was that.
Congrats on the win,
Thank
Coach.
you.
Yeah, what would you say this win says about the character of your team?
We've seen this character throughout the year. Again, thankfully, we have bodies now. We have a little bit more quality now as well. But we've seen this on display in many of the games. And, we were down a guy in Dallas and putting in a big shift. We were down a guy against Seattle and pushing and grinding. The game against Charlotte was still a game that we should probably grab more from these 3 games in a week. But the performances were much better, the way that we go about the game. Having Danny Pereira part of it, having, obviously Julio back in the mix. Seba is a big piece of this. But we need everybody to perform at a really good level. And, the execution is gonna vary depending upon our ability to perform in the stressful moments, but the guys did a great job tonight, and it should give the guys a lot of confidence going forward. And as I said before, I think the last 3 or 4 performances for the group have been extremely good. Possession, chances, shots, these were things we all talked about earlier in the year, but as we get our full complement of players, adding in Mikel, and certainly Buka has to continue to adapt and understand a little bit of what the league looks like. But Zbatak is also in, Alexander's also here, so we got some things that we can look forward to.
Yeah, and then Ring with a goal and an assist, Pereira with an assist. Just how important are these attacking contributions from your midfield?
Huge. I think it's we can get it in various ways. I think when we have the ball, the expectation is he's a little bit further up the field, and I talked to him last game about it as well against Charlotte. He has to arrive. That's part of being that 10. It's the toughest job on the field because he's the one that has to arrive at one end, and now he has to defend as a center mid, and it could be defending in the line or defending in front of the goal. So that position specifically, physically, is the most demanding. So it takes a toll, and I think it's just you're prioritizing some of the things for him and getting in his ear a little bit more about it. But Danny's been extremely good since coming back. I think that's been a big positive. And those central players, again, for possession purposes, for the ability to move the attack forward and side to side, it's extremely important. Pepe, we don't have a replacement for, so it's challenging when we don't have him. And when he's showing that bravery and quality, he can unlock a lot of things that we just don't have when we have other center mids in there. So, Alex did a good job as well. Seba, I thought, had a very good night, and the whole group did. Again, at the end of the day, there were big requirements as this game moved on, and the guys handled it quite well.
Josh, on halftime, you have won 10 men and 2-1. What was the conversation with the team to keep them focused?
Yeah, I think getting to halftime without making too much changes and also identifying what Pumas were doing. They were putting a lot of balls in. They got into half spaces and were dumping balls on top of the back line. So we knew we had to adjust and get a little more pressure and in those wide areas while also preventing the central areas. So we knew right away we needed to get to a 5, and that's why we brought in Owen. And now we flattened out with 3 center mids and had Seba still on the field, because at the end of the day, we need quality. We need Seba to be out there, and Giassi put in a good shift. But when you have Alex, Pepe, and Owen, you have the ability to get out and get pressure to balls in wide areas. When you can transition, you have Pepe and Owen who can also dribble, and now you can have Biro and Johnny join as necessary. And Seba does a great job holding balls up. And it was always going to be a grind and a battle in that way. We know we're not going to have a ton of possession, but when you get chances to transition, when you get chances to get set pieces, you have to make them count. And I thought the guys did a really good job with that. And as the game went on, it becomes taxing. It's more a mental and physical exercise as the game goes on. And we saw a lot in the last little bit of this game.
You just mentioned that this was a dramatic and very excited game. Do you think this is, we think is the best victory of the history of the club. What do you think?
No, I think it's a good victory. I wouldn't say the best of the history of the club, but it's important to win in the League's Cup. I think beating a good Pumas team is indicative of who we are. We knew it was going to be a challenge. They've started extremely well in their league, but it's just about going out and performing. I talk about the discipline and the level of execution. Those things don't change. When you do that in a good way, both off with the ball and without the ball, we'll give ourselves a chance. We gotta do better at starting and ending these games with 11 guys. So that's clear. But the willingness of the group, the camaraderie of the group, and ultimately the quality of the group. The last 4 or 5 games, to me it's been quite clear. The group is trending in a good manner. We gotta grind and push and maximize opportunities and continue to get results that can help elevate us.
Go ahead, Corey.
Corey Mose, KVU Sports. Congrats on the win, Coach.
Thanks, Corey.
Can you just speak about starting Steph tonight, and then also that penalty save that he got? What did you see from that perspective?
Yeah, I think for Steph, Brad was a little ill at the beginning of the week, and he did train all week. But having seen and looking at it for an opportunity to Steph, we thought it was a good opportunity for him to get out on the field. He trains extremely well. He's played in these competitions with Seattle, so quite familiar with what the stress and what these games and ultimately what the competition looks like. So, I think he did, an incredible job when asked and needed on that penalty kick. There's no doubt about it. It helps preserve the lead. We don't have to go to shootouts potentially. So, it's his first start in a long time and first real minutes for us as a club. So I wouldn't say it was perfect for him, but again, when the moment came and he was needed, he answered it. And the guys were extremely appreciative of it, as are all of us. And it'll give him confidence going forward. And obviously, I think it has a big effect for the group.
And speaking about confidence, Seba getting this goal, how do you think that affected him tonight? You saw a lot of emotion after he scored the goal, but he's been waiting for that for a while.
Yeah, he has been. I think he puts, he knows how important he is to this team, and we need him to perform because it only elevates those around him. It only elevates the intensity, the belief, the hunger of the group. He's so impactful and influential in this group. When he's scoring goals, he starts to elevate to the Seba that we know. But he's a human being. So when it's not going well or it's challenging for him, over time that can affect you. But we these players know who he is. They got his back, and tonight was a good, strong performance for Seba. And it helped push the group in a good way. And we'll try to recover, get ready for Monterey in a few days, and do our best to come out in that game and give us a chance to again win another game.
Yeah, and just last one for me. You're big on momentum throughout the season, and so winning a match like this, down a man, penalty save, this type of atmosphere in Leagues Cup, first ever Leagues Cup win for the club. What can this do for the squad, knowing the circumstances that you won?
Yeah, I think that's exactly what you see. And there's been different moments in the season where we've gained momentum, and then little moments where you lose momentum. So when you have it, can you really utilize it and maximize it? And momentum happens inside games, and then there's inside a season. So I think it's a really unique comment. And Rodolfo and myself and the staff, we talk about it a lot. So it's when you have it, how do you keep it and maximize it and keep it moving forward? And when you don't have it, how can you stop it and get it going the other direction? So performances like this, build in again, it just reiterates the collective, the character, the personality required. At the end of the game, you can see the enthusiasm and energy from the guys that didn't start the game, guys that did start the game that were on the sideline, the fans, the players on the field trying to, again, embrace the fans, embrace the elements of the game. And it should give them much confidence, and certainly we want to move and capitalize on the momentum. But we have another big opponent. This was an extremely daunting ask against Pumas. It'll be another big ask against Monterrey. But this is what the game is about. We'll have just as much as opportunity to win the game as Monterrey. Can we go out and perform and execute and give ourselves a chance?
This question was sent on Zoom. Did Pumas come out too confident tonight?
I don't know. You'd have to ask Pumas.
I just got one last one about Bukari. Did you get a chance to talk to him after he came off? And just, is this learning moment for him? Is it just kind of welcome to CONCACAF? Or?
I think you've said it. I'm not allowed to say anything, but I think you've said it. And it's unfortunate, but we'll continue to talk and help Buka. But his qualities, you can see in little moments where his elusiveness and his change of speed, his dynamic is quite clear. But got to get familiar with the league. Certainly the reffing. This is more of a competition outside of our league. But again, I'm not going into it. It's $50,000 if I say something. So it's all I can do to not say anything. But I think it's quite clear what was going on tonight.
All right. If no more questions, that's it of tonight's press
Thank you, guys.
conference. Thanks, Coach.